This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for product, and fowlibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists, as well as our guest lecturer members Vite Ramen, King Pearlshine, and Mognite. Class is in session. That's fine. Hey there, rulers. Welcome back after, what seems to be the most jam-packed filled week of Force of Will we've had in a very long time, to Office Hours, your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. And it's the 100th episode, guys. 100 episodes. We're going.
Oh,
here's to 100 more.
I would have brought the champagne that I have.
Just triple digit.
Yeah, we hit that triple digit on the thumbnail. Good to go. As always, I am Demo73, and I am joined by my wonderful friends Paul Reisman.
Force of will, baby, force of will. A little softer
my grants.
Greetings. Jeez.
And because we're talking about a mermaid, so Patrick also wanted to be here. Patrick.
It's time
Patrick
for
Ogres.
blue again.
We're not going to be talking about blue for a very long time, but
we
we'll
have
get
some things
there.
to get through.
We have a lot of stuff to get through before then, but including some exclusive spoilers for here on the channel, spoiling live tonight, which I'm very excited for. Not one, not two, not four, but 5.
Exclusive I'll give you guys a hint. One of them might be light magic stone.
None of them are basic magic stones. None of them are basic magic stones. As always, if you like what we're doing and you want to consider supporting the channel, you can click that join button down below. And it's the easiest way to support us financially and has all kinds of cool perks based on the levels that you go to, including at the highest level or second to highest level. We'll also send you both of the Ruler School official playmats signed by me, as well as you can get merch and put your videos here on the channel. There's all kinds of cool stuff. King Pearlshine is in the chat and was previously a channel member. Hoping to see you come back soon, buddy. But as you can see, also all these awesome emotes that you see in the chat, you get that access to that at the base level as well. So I have Locust here on the screen until I realize that we need to go backwards like 2 days. But let's talk about Locust real quick. Well, since we're here. So we have Locust from Paradise, 1-drop 4/4 insect, flying, tap, destroy target resonator with total cost 2 or less. Put 2+1/+1 counters on this card. Play this ability only if this card has famine. So only usable if it is being used in Act or Dry or against Act or Dry and doesn't have any counters on it. This is just like a really solid 1-drop.
So normal.
It's a really solid 1-drop. I have nothing against this card at all. I think it is probably good enough to see play in almost all of the early Act or Dry builds. I also think it could see some potential play against Act or Dry, as if you're cool, you've turned on that I get to use famine stuff. I'll commit a 1-drop that's going to kill anything you're going to play, right? You know what I mean? That's the weird thing about Act or Dry is he naturally fuels his own counterplay by existing, which I just think is very interesting. Also, this is our first AI card. Seemingly.
And by I Spy Studio.
Yeah, and honestly, not bad. I mean, AI is still a very gray area, and I'm not sure how I feel overall about the use of it, but this doesn't look bad. And if it's gonna
I can appreciate the experimentation with it. Obviously, It's much better to support, real artists doing stuff like this. But I don't. Honestly, it's very interesting that it was able to kind of capture Force of Will's non-anime character, but still semi cartoony vibe.
Yeah, it's this piece of if you're gonna try to flush out some of your chaff normals, right, and focus on paying your artists more for the quintessential characters or the high-end more detailed artwork or whatever, and so you're just gonna well, we have 100 cards to fill, we'll take 4 or 5 of them and kind of do some normals to just kind of fluff it out. I mean, I don't hate that as an idea. I just think you got to be careful about the use of AI. It gets a little bit tricky. So yeah, you can certainly pick it apart, but at first glance it's fine. Yeah, for sure. You can tell that there's very clearly some. Yeah, don't stare at it too long. But that's okay. We're not looking at the artwork of it anyway. I do want to go ahead and go backwards where we need to go. I think it's trying to send me to the wrong card image. There we go.
You only have 1 AI card per minute.
I only have so much time to go through all of these. Gotta go to here is where I think I have Jean. Yes, here she is. So we have Jean. Oh, we even got to go even back further than Jean.
We need to go back a couple days of the contract.
Keep going. Keep going.
Everything was so so weird. Okay.
We need Wolf.
I need Wolf, but I need contract Wolf first. And all my images are tiny. Y'all talk about AI artwork while I'm trying to find this.
I'd rather not, but
fair enough.
I mean, listen, I can talk about AI artwork as somebody who literally used AI artwork to actually just like.
I found it. Okay, so summon the Wolf of Famine.
Okay,
Sorry,
there we go.
Summon the Wolf of Famine. 1 drop, 2 drop, 1 white, 1 colorless. You may remove 4 +1/+1 counters from entities you control rather than pay this card's cost. Keep in mind that leaves it vulnerable to Wind Moonchild. Put target light, non-magic stone, non-enchant card with total cost 2 or less from your graveyard into the field. If you control 3 or more magic stones, you may contract this card with Act or Dry, and then it flips over into being Artemis Chrono Gear. This card enters the field with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, J/Resonators with no continue to gain Famine, and whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters is put onto something with Famine you control, recover it. Seems solid. Like Mini Duet of Light, I think is great. And like this just sets up. I think the thing that I like the most about Dry in seeing this is truly how much he's going to be using +1/+1 counters for costs of things, and that's just really cool to explore. And I think this J Ruler side really accentuates that. And I'm going to get out of the way to let you guys talk about that.
I really like that.
That's
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all getting into each other's way. We're like waiting for each other to start.
What I like
Paul,
about this is this reminds me a lot of what Arthur Machines was trying to do way back in New Valhalla, but now it's placed back into white, which is where traditionally we've seen a lot of +1/+1 counters. And so using and utilizing those in different ways, in a way that also brings in like legacy support, is really, really fascinating to me. Locus,
bringing legacy support up to him,
bringing
legacy support up to him, and sending his cards backwards in time for legacy support, right?
Yeah,
which I think is really neat.
I really like that.
Mike,
I see a lot of combo potential with this card in very specific builds focused on like certain additions and resonators that just getting back multiple times would be kind of sick with. I like my brain is immediately going to like Oborozuki, put a thing on the field, reveal a 4-drop, put 4 counters on that, use this, get the thing back, go off, and like I don't know. I think that part of that aspect of the card, me thinking in terms of like a Wanderer brain, like Boomer in Force of Will terms. Like I'm thinking of all like the wacky shit you can do with it.
You know what's interesting? We've already discovered an infinite with it.
Perfect. I'm literally so behind. Let's go.
Rinka, the daughter of Mikage. Whenever she deals damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on her, or 2 +1/+1 counters on her, and then you can remove +1/+1 counters from her to give her flying. So you can just swing, deal damage, gain 2 counters, recover, remove them both to give her double flying, swing. You can just loop her, give her like 1 billion instances of flying, and then just go in. It's bad, but it's funny.
Oh my god, the Chrono Gear side of it. I was reading the
Chrono Gear
side of it. Side. Oh my god, yeah. That's kind of cute. Unfortunately, you have to be playing bad card, but that's okay.
I mean, it's cute. It's fine,
cute.
right?
It's fine. It wins the game.
Yeah. Hey. Patrick, any other thoughts on Artemis before we move on to some of the other support cards that got spoiled for him?
I think it's neat that they left summon the revival effect from summon to be restricted to light cards again.
And not alternative cards. Keep that in mind.
And not alternative cards, so you can't grab Flute. You can't grab like Melfi to be able to go will positive with it. You can't grab a lot of other things, but you're kind of locked into light for a lot of Dry.
Yo, you can get soul with it. Mono white. Let's go. Get more souls.
Let's go, boys.
I can dream, Harold. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I really like the fact that we'll see this a lot too with the what is her name? The mermaid's name?
Serenade.
Dry.
Veer.
Veer, sorry, with
Veer.
Veer is that like they're just like get to 3 stones, be able to contract. I really like that as like a restriction point element of just like we talked about this before, that ADW feels very much, or this set feels very ADW-ish, and so having the contracts be a little bit less restrictive in terms of like you have to take this play line and more you have to have reached this stage of the game also I think feeds into that, which means that like this set feels like a set that you're going to be able to just pick up and play, which is good. And again, I like the restrictive elements of it because making this card go will positive would be like really frustrating, I think, to try to deal with, considering it already is going to have a lot of ways to like go will neutral if not will positive because of burning cards or burning +1/+1 counters to play for cards instead. So like don't give it everything. Speaking of insane cards, if it'll actually change the image, please. Oh, nope, XSplit's being dumb.
Wait, hold on.
We do love when XSplit be dumb. 1 second.
Do we have Zwei yet? Because we have Ions.
We think that's on its way. We think that's on its way. We think that's probably the Darkness Ruler.
What's Olga? Why is Olga not just a German number?
Don't know.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a card that I think is kind of insane, which is Guidance of the False Savior. 1-drop quick cast. If you control a card named A of your family, you may choose both. And it's...
You choose all 3.
You choose all 3. Remove all +1/+1 counters from any number of target entities. Put a +1/+1 counter on any number of target entities, or draw a card. This card is insane in Actor Dry, outside of Actor Dry, in Oborozuki, outside of Oborozuki, against Oborozuki, against Actor Dry. Like, this card was just like, when they spoiled this, I went, okay, cool. We're serious about this card being competitive, but we're also, or this deck being competitive, but we're also serious about, like, not letting it overwhelm the format. This card, to me, was the biggest, like, they're being mindful of what they're introducing into the environment that I've ever seen. Also, it's a 1-drop white card, which means Charlotte gets better again. This card also suddenly means that like Star Dragon is a playable card because it also goes on stones. Like, I love this card, and I'm going to get out of the way and let Patrick talk about this card first.
I think it's good even if you don't have Age of Famine. Like, if you have Age of Famine, this card is just like gas. Like, really hard gas in almost any white deck you're playing. But if you don't have Age of Famine, at worst, I'm just gonna use this 1 will before recovery, and I'm just gonna cycle my deck really quick. At worst.
Yeah. Paul?
This is looking really fun for machine builds. Like, speaking of Lancelot, right? This is great. On your opponent's turn, just put 2 +1/+1 counters on stuff, remove counters to, and it's replacing itself. You're in white, so you can play like Duet of Light and stuff like that. So, like, this has implications for older support as well, and I really like that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's one of those like I really like the fact that this is a card that is introduced in his own support that is also counterintuitive to him, but he also can make use of. Like, dry mirrors are going to be insane in a fun way, like really complicated, really complex, and like rewarding of skill play. But even outside of dry mirrors, if you think that dry is going to be popular at your meta, this can be a very good sideboard card to bring into the environment, right? Because you can really easily disrupt what dry is going to do but also in such a way that doesn't completely hose him, right? Because suddenly having Famine back on his own stuff can be helpful for him. So it's like, you got to really think about it. And I really love cards that are just good tech, but also really make you think. Mike, any thoughts before I go on?
Got a lot of modes, sound good. You need to have other card on field. I forget if that other card good.
Awesome. Well done.
I did it.
You did it.
Good.
Unga bunga good.
Mike Brain thinking.
XSplit continues to be weird. So 1 second.
I'll continue talking about AI art.
Yeah, no, it's not going to take that long for me to get stuff. It's just going to mean that it's going to be a little bit weird while we pull stuff up. Next up, we have because it's not letting me like choose the card image, which is really weird. Followers of the False Savior, 1-drop 4/4 with Drain, prevent all damage that would be dealt to this card as long as it has Famine. And whenever this card deals damage, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. That's a very common theme for dry cards in general, is when they deal damage, gain counters. And you can pay 1 white, discard this card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target J/Resonator, draw a card. Also, just a super solid normal. Like, just super solid. I honestly was impressed by the fact that they made it cantrip for the discard effect.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of sick.
Yeah,
but
that
my
was
question
huge to me.
My question though.
Sure.
Why if people hungry they take no damage, but why when people eat food they get counters?
Blind faith. They're being driven insane by dry, forced to go where they want him to go, but then they get a taste of something and they maybe start to go away from him so they can die again.
So
it's very culty. It's very culty.
Super culty.
I feel like this card should have been a
Suri,
rare.
wait, this TCG is still alive? Yeah, we just had our 10-year anniversary, and we've been releasing new sets every 3 months for the past 7 years. We're still here. New set comes out in a month. It's good stuff.
Just dead. These spoilers are fake.
These spoilers. I made all these cards.
Yeah, honestly, this is the 100th episode, but the other 99 episodes are literally just us sitting here just talking.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
I feel like this card is a little too strong for a normal, but that's me valuing it a little more.
Yeah, I think this card is.
Have you read all the normals?
I think this card will see, like, early builds of dry will make use of it, but as we find out how consistent the +1/+1 counter generation is, or like what the right ratios for +1/+1s versus uses of the +1/+1s, this is probably the first card that we'll start to see getting cut from dry lists. But I still think it's good. The fact that it has that flexibility of like being able to just be a discard to outlet is, I think, really good. Yeah, +1/+1 counters are the food.
I see.
Yep, for sure. Makes a lot of sense.
This +100/+100 counter is my body.
Yes.
This +100/+100 counter.
Moving on.
Let's
Let's talk about Jean. Famished Punisher of the Solaris Order. Enter. You may destroy target J/Resonator with Famine. If this card was awakened, destroy all with Famine other than this card instead. When this card destroys a J/Resonator your opponent controls, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and remove a total of 2 +1/+1 counters from entities you control. This card gains Swiftness, Flying, Precision, Drain, or Eternal until end of turn. Awakening of 1 white. This card is an absolute 4 in every dry deck ever.
Yeah, I've heard you like one-sided board wipes.
It's 2-sided because it's everything with Famine.
You're gonna
your
put
own stuff
counters on your
against
guys.
Famine too.
You're gonna put your counters on your guys. You're good. You're fine.
Potentially one-sided.
I like potential.
I had an interest in this TCG to this one deck. If you guys can help me remember, the theme is based on this Black Cat and the main gen is Gothic Lolita in one.
Wow.
Dark Alice.
It's Dark
Forceful
Alice.
Boomer. Let's go.
There's been a bunch of Dark Alices. There's been a bunch of Dark Alices in time. We even recently did a talk about doing some
100%
black,
that's
white Dark
TGW
Alice.
Dark Alice though, for sure.
Yeah. Anthony Lasinski, the theme for this one is like the false prophet, essentially, of the cult of Solari, which like has made itself to be the church of this dimension. It's pretty
it's
pretty dark.
Yeah, like what
dark.
Mika goes back to like sacrificing humans for all her effects and stuff like that. Like,
so apparently in the lore, like Mika knows what's going on and is turning against them. Like she's helping the rebellion, which I think is very interesting. But yes, she's like part of the Solari stuff.
Because she read the research materials of Falchion's grandpa or something before they all got burned up.
Yeah. Surrey, is it still good? Probably not in terms of competitive viable and I'll say this. It's 6 years old. In any trading card game, a deck from 6 years ago is probably not that great.
Isn't it like 8 years old at this point? Wasn't TCW like late 2015?
Game was released in 2015 here in the United States. I know because the channel's only been around for about 7 years.
Huh.
So unless you somehow got TTW 2 years before it existed, but yeah, from the sake of the fact of like any card game, a deck from that.
Jeremy, come on now. Really, release date of Twilight Wonder, December 11th, 2015, right at the tail end.
Right at the tail end of 2015.
Come on now.
Ooh.
Fair enough.
I was finishing college, man. I remember that thing coming out.
So that's still 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we're not in December of 2023.
Yeah. 7 years ago. Our Pofadalis is pretty good.
But yeah, so there you go. This card's great. I really love this card. It's great. I have nothing else to say about it. It's a standard 4-of. It provides with flexibility. It's got an easy awakening cost, but you can also like counterplay with it. It's great. It's fine. Not overstated. Like I really like the fact that it's not overstated. It's fine. Oh man, why is XSplit being weird tonight? Next up we have
Reigns of Saints.
Reigns of Saints.
Saints of Reigns.
Quick cast. You may remove a total of 2+1/+1 counters from entities you control, rather than play this card's cost. Destroy a target rested J/Resonator or edition, which means a rested edition as far as we understand. Remove all cards in your opponent's graveyard from the game.
I don't know why they had to slap that last line of text on there, but
I mean, some editions have tap stuff. Are you kidding me? I would love to start the game against a Mika deck or against a
no, I mean
a Asuka deck.
Remove all cards from your opponent's graveyard from the game.
You want to know why? This is to hard screw over Asuka. It's designed to screw over Asuka. This card is an anti-Asuka card. Just as everyone is aware. Oh, you're activating Paramita of the Undead? Cool. I'll immediately destroy it and then remove all of the cards in the graveyard as 2 separate parts of this resolution so you don't have a way to protect your graveyard. Thank you. I Spy, look at me. Thank you. I'm tired. I am tired of having to do 2 separate card effects to screw over Asuka decks. Thank you for printing this card. Thank you.
It's fine. Just flash Dark Allison in response.
I'll kill it before this card resolves. That's fine. I'm still doing 2. That's still me getting you through 2 things as opposed to having to do 2 things to get through 1 thing. I'll do 2 things for 2 things. That's fine. Especially since I can play this card for 0 will very easily. Like, got it. This card is so good.
Oh, this card hard. This card hard counters my Vingolf 3 Kane burn strategy. Come on, Jeremy.
Probably everything does, but you know.
This card is great. I love it. I also really do like the fact that it specifically says rested edition, because like you can then play around it. Like if you're really wanting to keep something around, you just don't tap the edition. Like it does allow some counterplay, but it is just a very good card. I like it a lot. Image file. Were Asuka decks really an issue though? I mean, we've seen Asuka making some waves at the like mid to like the local and just above local level. And it has been frustrating to play against with people coming up experimenting with it and making use of things like the reflect contract to support stuff and doing contract loops with like Lucifer, kind of pivoting to like ripping your hands to shreds and stuff like that. So I will say that, do I think that this card was absolutely necessary to beat Asuka, or because Asuka was so much of a problem? No. Am I glad that it exists so that I have better sideboard tech against Asuka decks? Yes. Fair, right? I think that's fair. Trying to see if there's anything else in here before I move to the stuff that's in my downloads folder. I think I'm good to move to the downloads folder. But before we do,
here it goes.
Before we do, we have 2 things to talk about though. I'll trade 2 cards for 0 will for 2 cards you spent will on and your resource engine. Yes, absolutely. For sure. Asuka cemented as the only darkness deck Jeremy dislikes. Probably not wrong.
Damn.
Don't get me wrong. Like it's just annoying to play against. I've just been like, I've had so many games where I'm playing against Asuka, and I'm like, oh, I'm so far ahead. This is great. And then like, here's a contract. Here's reanimating 3 Lucifers. Here's a second contract. Kill those same 3 Lucifers. Then reanimate them again. And I'm just like, okay. Like, yeah, pretty much.
Asuka circus.
Yeah, I'm tired of that for sure. I do want to say before we go any further, that we'll get into my exclusive spoilers here in a second. I have those planned. I do want to remind people, since we've got a good crowd here, that 2 Saturdays from now, there is the big Converging Wills event happening. It is a webcam event that anyone can participate in, and it is going to be insane. These are the details. I'm pulling them up on screen. They'll cover us up for just a second. It's on February 11th and 12th. There's a link in the description to go to their Facebook page so that you can get signed up through their Google link. It's $45 entry promos for everybody. You get packs of cards just for playing. You get Worlds promos or GP promos. You get a free Force at Will die. Like there's a lot of insane stuff there. And then like there's all kinds of dope prizing, including like top 8 prize cards, Melfi and Black Witch promos, Dark Alice promos, and top 8 and some random draftfuls also get access to these absolutely sick playmats options that are available to people for like the people who win. Just pulling these up on the screen for people to look at. They make some amazingly beautiful playmats. And these are just really great options for people. I just wanted to shout these guys out. If you do get signed up and you're a member of our Ruler School Discord, if you let us know in our Discord server that you're signed up, you will be representing Ruler School, and Converging Wills will ship you additional extra stuff. The more people we get from Ruler School representing our team in the tournament, the more you get. So keep that in mind. Just wanted to just put that out there. The Converging Will guys are great. I am playing in that event, and none of you are going to stop me from winning that Lumia playmat. Look at me.
You say none of
Don't.
you. I'm right here, Jeremy.
None
I'm
of
right
you are
here.
getting in my way for that Lumia playmat. But
Jeremy,
none
I'm
of you
right
are getting
here.
in my way for that Lumia playmat. That
I'm
playmat
gonna
is mine.
I'm going to win that event with Prego TK, and nobody can stop me.
You can hear Jeremy drool on the topic of playmats. That Lumia playmat got posted. I didn't know it existed, and I messaged our team chat, and I went, "Stay out of my way. I will murder you." Paul can attest. Like, I was just like, no. Anyway,
I can send you Prego TK. That's all I've got.
I'm looking forward to playing with everybody. It's going to be a great time to be able to play in a webcam tournament. It's going to be an awesome time. So definitely go get signed up for that. Converging Wills does some really great work. And I just want to support them for that. Okay, so we have a couple more cards for Actor Dry. Then we're going to jump into the first of our exclusive spoilers. And then we're going to go into some other stuff as well. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So we're kind of moving a little bit quick. So I hope you guys will kind of bear with us.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. So first up, we have the Marvel Rare here, which is Starfall. Just kind of removing some stuff here. Starfall Dragon, 2-drop 7/7 with flying, dragon gears. Banish a meteorite entity you control. If you do, destroy a non-magic stone entity your opponent controls at random, or play Dolly and choose. If there is a +1/+1 counter on each the entity banished this way, you may pay the effect. You may apply the effect of this ability again, or use a second Dolly and choose twice for sure.
Or just play Olivia.
Or do that. Pay 1 white and reveal this card from your hand. Put a Meteorite Edition token with no attribute into the field. It gains when this card is put into a graveyard from the field. Draw a card. So this card, if you don't reveal anything, but at least have a Meteorite on it, is like, if you don't put any +1/+1 counters on the Meteorite, this card is a +1 every single time you cast it. If you do put a Meteorite on it, this card is a +1/+1 counter on it. This card is a +2 every single time you cast it. I love this card. This card is great.
This card feels like a rare.
This card feels like a marvel. Are you kidding me? This card feels insane. I really like this card a lot.
I was just reveal. It's not discard.
Correct. That's why I'm saying it's so good.
I see.
Like,
I read
it
the
fuels
card
itself.
again.
It fuels itself. You just like, hey, at upkeep, pay 1, recover, or before recovery, pay 1, reveal this, get a meteorite counter. Cool. Actor Dry is going to put some counter. The flute that I played on turn 1 is also going to just like put a counter on it real quick. And then I'm just going to go, cool, cast this, sack the meteorite, kill 2 of your things, draw a card.
Patrick just revealed something very important about the most powerful effect in Forcible's entire history by talking about this reveal effect. No, reading comprehension.
Yeah, that's
True.
It's true.
Reading the cards.
It does, in fact, explain the cards.
This card
top players
feels...
don't need to read cards. Come on, they just get told how the deck works.
Right.
This
Yu-Gi-Oh players are shown the flow chart that goes about 7 pages long, and then they figure out the end of the combo.
Alejandro calling out Mike. This might be the first time I ever agree with Mike. This doesn't feel like a Marvel rare.
Hey, Alejandro and I finally agree on something. It only took us 4 years since we started the Wonder Baneless.
Mana Sinks are not historically very good in this game. I'm sorry, Ryan, what? Mana Sinks are traditionally very good in this game. Tea Party, Priscia, Flute, like... What?
Like,
Yeah.
Hello,
Okay, anyway, this card is good. I like this card a lot.
Did you
I like
skip
that
the
it's
rest of the Locust batch of spoilers?
Oh, I did. We need to go back to those, don't I? Gosh dang it.
You know what? Let's just go
Because
right. Let's go over to the mermaids and then back
This
to
week
this.
this week has had
Wait.
so...
Wait,
This-
Jeremy, I got a good idea. We'll just go to the mermaid spoilers. We'll spoil before we spoil the mermaid rule. We spoil the contract. Then we go to your reveals. Then we go to the rest of the AI stuff, and then after that, we go to the
Virgil's a will sync. Yeah, Virgil's also a will
Right.
sync. So good that he got
Virgil
banned.
doesn't count.
Also, I will say this makes a worthless rock. It's not a worthless rock. It's an addition. You want to know what I can do with that addition? Play an engineer.
True.
Like,
Feed sing.
You
yeah,
can feed
use
sing.
feed sings. Like, this is a good card. It's a good card. Anyway, I do want to talk about his other card before we go back to the other AI cards. Gosh, it's because this week has just had so many like left field like spoilers, and then converging with like just so many other things have happened that I'm just all off my game tonight. So I apologize, people. Next AI art card. Oh, I just said I was going to go to his other card, and now I'm pulling up the AI card. See, look at that. 100th episode, not going great.
This is the exact professionalism you guys came here for. 99 episodes before this, and you will continue going back for this.
Also true, Roderick Sykes used Dark Alice to sack the additions. Like, yeah, that's fine. Free things, free card advantage. It's good. Prevalence of Famishment, 1-drop white. You may remove a total of 2 +1/+1 counters from gear entities you control rather than pay this card's cost. Destroy target J/Resonator with Famine. You gain life equal to its defense or draw a card. This card's okay. It's probably not the thing that I'm like most curious about like using my +1/+1 counters for, but it's not bad.
That title those aren't real words. Prevalence of famishment is not a real statement. I'm just going to point that out. I'm pretty sure that's made up.
Famishment, a real word. Let's find out. Yeah, it's a real word.
ISM.
I don't know anything anymore.
Do you keep in mind that you can't like reveal the same dragon 5 times? Because it like once it's revealed,
It's already revealed.
Once it's revealed until like the end of the turn, and then it would be concealed again. So you can't just be like, I've got 5 will. Just keep the name is also AI generated. Probably not, but maybe.
I should totally get that. We should totally do an AI
is a pretty
generated
good
Faust
spell.
set.
I think it's a good kill spell. I just think it's not necessarily the card that I'm like burning my +1/+1 counters on. But
No, I
as
still
a
pay
1-drop,
one.
it's pretty good.
Like,
Do any of
Yeah,
you guys
even as a
follow-
1-drop, it's good.
Wait,
Yeah,
do
you
any of
don't
you guys
need to burn
follow?
counters? It's just good.
Do you guys
Crystal
follow
Cultivation.
Robo Rosewater on Twitter, where it just makes AI generated magic cards? I want to see an AI generated Force of Will set. I wonder what it'd make.
So the difference, so can't you reveal Satan 1,000,000 times? That's different because revealing isn't part of the cost. Yeah, it's pay 0 at resolution. Reveal this card, so you can just be like, I would like to put Stan's effect on the chase a bajillion times.
That dang colon.
It's a will sync, but it's
Once.
not like a Prisia will sync. It's just like I've got one will available. I'm gonna get some value off of it.
Oh yeah, I
It's
love
still-
Prissy. I love Prissy style will syncs. Anyway.
Right. Anyway,
You like
so
Princess
here we
style
have.
cards? I bet you're ready for the mermaid spoilers.
There you go. Here's Famished Wolf. Here's Famished
doggo.
Wolf. 2 cost 8/8. You can pay
Good.
2 less to play this card if your opponent controls a J/Resonator with Famine. So this is probably coming down as a 2-drop pretty quick. Gains swiftness and precision as long as it has Famine. So as when it enters the field, it'll be Swifty Boy. Whenever this card attacks, destroy target J/Resonator with Famine. If the chosen target was still a legal target, to put 2 +1/+1 counters on this card. This card is like actually very good. Like, because I can go, you played a thing on turn 1, go to my turn 2, cast this card for 2, you have a thing with Famine, I have Famine, swing at your face for 8, trigger, it's going to kill the thing that made me have to pay 2 for it, I'm going to get 2 counters, I'm going to hit you in the face for 10. Like, this is not a bad aggro tool for Actor Dry at all.
Oh yeah. A 2-drop 8/8 that becomes a 10/10 on impact seems pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Good
Yes,
talk.
Mike.
Good dog. Good dog. Good dog, long tongue.
You really do get that long tongue. Hey, show me
It's
what
hungry.
the tongue. Show me what the tongue
Don't
do.
do that. Don't talk about that.
Don't forget Photon Drive.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're
Thank you
getting
for
there.
reminding me that that's the next card. So, real quick before we get to these things, overall, I think now that we've seen all 3 AI cards, this is significantly better looking artwork than we were anticipating when we saw the video where they talked about the AI cards, right? This is significantly better. That being said, I'm not advocating, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts and the chat's thoughts. I'm not advocating for the continued use of the AI stuff because of the gray area in terms of artwork. However, I can see the advantage of, again, like I said, flushing out some throwaway normals just to also maybe even help on production time based on the artists that are available, because these don't look half bad. So that's my piece. You guys can talk about the other ones while I'm pulling up for Photon Drive.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who pretty much made an entire set of cards for the game I created out of AI artwork, like I understand the disconnect between the two. I do think that AI artwork in general should be used more so for test purposes rather than for like actual
References.
commercial.
I mean,
Agreed.
it should be used for references and not for just plugging in as something and then uploading the finished product.
Yeah, because right now, if I was to give my ideas for my cards to an artist and say, this is what I'm envisioning, obviously, like, there could be some loss in translation. But if I put it through, like, Dolly Mini or something like that, just for, like, a really low-res, like, very basic idea of it, I'm like, this is kind of the idea that I had in mind, obviously fleshed out with a few more options, then that artist can go, like, okay, cool. Well, now I know kind of the vision that's in your head based on what an AI program would create. From there, start moving forward. But I do think that obviously, like, if it's sporadically here and there just for small throwaway cards, that's fine. The wolf's a throwaway. We know that. It's fine. Like, it's a good effect. It's on a 4-drop. It's a throwaway. We'll let it be. But for something like a Marvel Rare or something like actually like significant for a ruler, I would never want to see AI art on a ruler.
Never even close. Anything above a normal rare, I would be completely opposed to. 100%.
Correct. But
Anything
I think
above a normal.
yeah,
Like,
but like
I would even prefer, I think, necessarily even keeping them to like tokens, right? Like, if you really have to, put them on normals, but like save it for tokens. Especially because like our tokens so recently, as much as it's been nice, have just been like reused old card art anyway. So like,
yep.
just
By
go
the way,
make some AI tokens.
anyone in the chat who's an artist, talk to me because I'm probably going to start doing promo art for my game. Anyway, moving on.
Roderick, we have had judges have the argument about whether you can reveal it and it stays revealed or not. And Patrick and I are both judges who have been part of that conversation. It will probably be an answer in the Q&A document specifically, but we'll figure it out. Because it's part of cost to reveal him, it's not Like it's very strange. We'll get into it later though. Yeah, you bring a good point up there, ISM, for sure. AI sets trained on artists who consent to actually having their work put into that data set. Yeah. Okay, Photon Drive. So 2-drop quick cast, draw 2 cards, then discard a card, put 2+1/+1 counters on each J/Resonator you control, and each edition with no attribute you control. Mastery Starfall, Dragon from Outer Space. This card would have been unplayable if not for that mastery cost, because that means this card plus Starfall in your hand is busted. Because you can respond to Starfall's enter effect by mastering Starfall to play this, to put +1/+1 counters on the meteorite that you made, so that you can kill 2 things and then draw another card, so that you turn these 2 cards into 3 cards and kill 2 things. So go +3. Crazy.
Crazy. I need 2 cards in my hand for this combo, Jeremy. When am I ever going to do that?
Literally,
when am I ever?
Never. If my combo can't be started with 1 card, I'm not playing this game. Quote from Yu-Gi-Oh!
This set is driving judges mad. Yeah, we are kind of having a lot of debates in the judge chats right now. Really need that Q&A document /CR update. Like, pretty hard.
I mean, this set isn't as bad as the one with Typhon in it. I remember when Typhon came out, I was speaking to Charlie, and Charlie was like, I'm going to kill myself. And I'm like, that's great, bud. Go off. Anyway.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway. Paul, do you have any thoughts about Photon Drive?
Could have been Photon Overdrive. Could have been a reference. That's fine.
But it's not.
Nah. Not everything in this game can be references, Paul. We only have one eukaryotic being.
Hormone, man.
Lastly, we have the Magic Stone of Famine, which is tap, produce 1 white, or tap for the like famine support.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Tap, remove a total of 2 +1/+1 counters from other entities you control, and put 2 +1/+1 counters on target entity you control. The fact that Dry has so much of these things where he can like take the leftover +1/+1 counters from like 2 separate things and put them on something else is so interesting to me. Like that shifting around of the +1/+1 counters, it's very neat. This stone is okay. Like I don't have really anything other to say about this stone other than it's like the perfect stone for what you want a basic Actor Dry deck to be using.
I actually think that this is better no Brazuki, but
yeah, I would
I think
not
this
disagree.
card is really good no Brazuki because you just like out of anything on the field, let's put some counters on a stone and then let's transfer those once I actually have something on the field.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna draw 2 from the Starlit Canopy I played.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Starlit Canopy is crazy.
Dogville.
The reveal effect ends when the effect to reveal it ends. Yep, that's a true statement. Okay,
there it is. Got him.
So, let's talk about. Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about our first. We'll do 2. We'll do 2 of our exclusive spoilers right now. You guys want one that makes sense or one that doesn't make sense?
I want no sense made.
Yes.
No sense made.
1 sec.
Can I
go back to the stone really quick for a sec?
Yeah, go back to the stone really quick.
Because Steven said something about the Chrono Gear that made me realize something. So the stone removes 2 counters for cost.
Correct.
And then puts 2 counters on target entity.
Yep, so you can use it to help with the Chrono Gear.
Remove the 2 counters for cost, and then put them back on the same thing and recover
it. Yes, that is an option. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stone
okay. Yeah, we're starting with the card that makes no sense, and here it is. This is Sprout of the Treasure Tree of Magog. 1 cost 0/2 vegetation. Whenever this card gains blessing, produce black, and it banish this card. If it had 2 or more instances of blessing in the field, produce 3 black. What is blessing? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Ta-da!
Ability.
There you go. There you go. To answer your question, use Lackey 343. Old player was competitive when Heroes came out. How's the contract stuff work? Contracts are this cluster's version of Judgment. When you cast the contract chant and fulfill its contract requirements, you take the card out of the sleeve, flip it over, and put it into the field as the J ruler, flipping your ruler face down. So it's essentially, instead of being able to just flip the ruler itself, you have to rely on these chants to make it happen, because in the story, the power of Judgment has been lost to time, and so they only get to flip by using these contracts. Or in the case of all these mech guys, just like turning on a mech. It's like an artificial contract
with Megazord.
Starting a robot. So yeah, that is just one of the first cards, but with restrictions. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to every version of Sprout. Pretty much every version of Sprout is produce 1 or produce 3 will. So this is just the version with blessing. We don't really know what that means. Yeah, it's whatever Funf does. Yeah, the Black Ruler's mechanic is related to blessing, but we don't know how to get it. We don't know how easy it is to do or how long it sticks around. So there you go.
I got it. Bless up.
Anyway.
Cool. Well done. Thank you. Here we go. Next up, we have our other card that makes more sense. And then we'll get to our last 3 after we talk about the spoilers from the official channel. We have Eternal, the Assaulted Archipelago. 2-cost edition that is not a cocoon. Thank God. Tap, put the top card of your Magic Stone deck into the field. It gains at the next end of turn. Its controller banishes it. I got this card before the special stone of Tap, Sack, Get a Stone was revealed. That stone being printed suddenly makes this edition much better. And you can see why I'm very glad it's not a cocoon.
I don't know why it's not Cocoon, because it's still Eternal, but I don't know, flavor, fail, whatever.
No, design win, because I don't want the Hero 1 rulers just starting the game with 2 stones, no prob. Like...
yeah.
Cocoon is the planet. So that, like, Java, if that's what you're
Cocoon,
about.
Java,
Cocoon,
cocoon meaning like the addition subtype.
Free thing
so
versus not
free thing at the beginning of the game. Yeah, it's on fire, so it lost the water attribute. Tap for 4 recovery, tap again after 2 extra stones. Yes, after you've played this for 2 will. Yes. You can turn it into 2 that turn temp stones. Yes, for sure.
You sack them to Gru's Blessed.
You can certainly do a lot of crazy stone shenanigans with this card, for sure.
You play Magic Stone Institute, and you sack the one you were going to sack anyway. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's the move.
That's it. Cracked it.
Yeah, this is pretty good. No lie, I missed my Fire Hero combo with Faria. I will say we have a nice Faria list that we just recently put out on the channel that doesn't use Fire Hero. That's honestly really fun and like a really good list. So check that out if you're considering.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Olga
so good epic stories.
Olga needs ramp, so yeah, for sure. You can flip EDL Welser sooner. More like legacy support for the old Gru's Blessed stone manipulation stuff. Yeah, hey, Twilight Gaming Productions, good to see you back. It's been a bit. Good to see you in the chat. Okay, so those are our 2. We got 3 more to talk about. I'm sure I will be absolutely spammed in all of the servers about these cards. Don't worry, server. I will share these card images once I'm done, so you don't have to go hunting or try to screen grab. I will share them with you. Don't worry. So let's talk about some water cards. No.
We're talking about the stream cards?
Official company cards.
Company cards.
Company cards.
First up, we have Civil War in Solari. 4-cost, destroy all 4-cost, destroy all special magic stones, mastery of Messiah and Raging Messiah. Thoughts, gentlemen?
It implies the existence of Raging Messiah to be another Resonator, because you need to
Not
have
a
a J
contract.
ruler named Messiah.
Yeah.
Remember Captain Hook? This is him now. Feel old yet?
I don't really think this is Captain Hook because
I
it
know it's
destroys
not
both
Captain Hook,
sides.
whatever. It's fine.
It destroys both sides. Like,
No, it's okay. I'm playing a mono white Mika.
ISM best card in the set. See, like, I look at this card and I'm just, it's a fine card. I don't understand what all the freaking out is that people about it.
Rustin, you have to remember the rule of epic stories: don't hate on stones. If you do, you're an asshole.
If you do, you're killed first.
Correct. There you go. Patrick knows. Patrick knows.
Yeah, this card just feels fine. It doesn't feel overwhelming. You have to contract Messiah, which is, by the way, god awful hard to do, and then you have to play this unknown card we haven't seen yet. Which,
So,
and then tap them both for this 4-drop.
Toby, so the company puts out a statement with Painter Gears and the Shiva spell saying destroying stones makes it unfun, then goes and prints this. I would like to talk about that specifically. Okay. That is one cost instant speed, and you can search up Painter's Gears for 0 in Machina, and only hits one side. This is 4 cost, non-quick cast speed, hits both sides. So yes, it is stone destruction, but it's significantly harder to pull off, and it hits both sides unless you're better prepared for it, right? Like, we still have other 4-drop stone destruction that hits both sides of the field called Hades. So if you have a problem with this card, then you should also be going to go complain about Hades. I think this card is...
Moon? Me too.
I think this card is... I think this card is just fine. If you're going to make stone hate, doing it in this way, I think is just fine. It seems fine to me. Run all basic windstones, use children for will fixing, play Archipelago onto double tap, play this and reset your opponent's stones. Unless your opponent is also playing monocolor stones, or plays things to give stuff eternal, like Metal Shield Solid.
Play mono green to beat this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card
I think it's fine.
An underwhelming super, and I'm okay with that.
Well, but Stranger, I don't think this contradicts their statement, Toby. Like, I think that, like, hyper fast early game stone hate is what, like, they want to avoid that. This is not hyper fast early stone hate.
Also going to point out that you can only will fix with a kid once per turn, and this costs 4, not green will.
Unless it's 2 kids.
This costs 4, not green will.
Yeah, it does cost 4, not green will, if you want mono green stones. Yeah, for sure. ISM, yeah. For the record, I don't think it's good. I think it's funny. Yeah, totally fine. Absolutely.
Anyway.
It is finally something that starts people playing special stones. Yeah, like, have something in the environment that says, like, maybe don't play so greedy with your color base, boys. Like, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Fuck your moon shades, boy.
0.
1.
I'm
really curious what this plus the fetch stone will do to stone deck construction. Yeah, for sure. Very curious for me. This is very interesting. I like this card. I think it's fine. I think it's cool to be introduced. It's fine. Next we have
which one?
We're gonna go over an hour here very clearly because we got a lot of cards to get through. This is Reign of Serpents. 1 cost blue, Snake Resonator, quick cast with 0/0, enters the field with 4 multiplied by X, +1/+1 counters, where X is the combined total numbers of melody that J/rulers you control have. Remove 4 +1/+1 counters from this card, choose 1, play this ability only once per turn, draw a card, bounce a thing, produce blue. The fact that it produces blue is nuts. And it will certainly feed into the Storm deck element of it. There is a lot left to be seen for her, whether or not she's going to be good, but she feels like she's going to be a very interesting, weird Storm deck, and I'm here for it.
You know, everybody always talks about the fact that they think that Snake Rain is going to be really broken every single set that gets released, but I think this is the one that's really going to seal it.
True.
So dies immediately if it's your first card for the turn? Yeah. So don't do that.
Yeah, just don't.
It's quick cast. It's fine.
Does this have synergy with King of the Feral Imps in any way?
No, because it's not a reptile.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
So
Paul.
it's a snake. That's right.
Yeah, sorry,
Unfortunate.
Paul.
Okay, so anything else to say about this card? We have a lot more to see from the melody mechanic, I think, before we can really speak to what this card is, but it's like very clear indicator of like, we're going to be cantripping. We're going to be doing storm stuff.
This card's okay. Next.
Until we see more of her support. Yeah,
This feels like a dolly for Veer.
It's the exact effects of Dolly, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, that's really funny.
Except Dolly can also,
can't hit
except Dolly
additions.
can't hit additions. Yeah.
You can bounce it back. You can do a bunch of stuff with it.
Reign of Serpents is a quick cast order trigger. Would Zeus play this? Because it'll immediately die. Yeah, probably.
Hey.
Honestly, probably Zeus plays it. Like,
Hey, Dark Hydra, shut up.
He's not wrong. Okay, so let's talk about Imul, the card that everyone was most excited about.
It's okay again.
So
So many
two
cards.
cost 2/2 replicant. This card gains +2/+2 for each sun protection ruler or entity you control. Whenever a sun protection magic stone enters the field under your control, tap. It produces one of whatever color you want. Pay 1 white, gain a life. Pay 1 red, top card of your deck from the game. You can play it from your removed area until end of turn. Pay 1 black, J/Resonators your opponent controls gain -4/-4 until end of turn. This is also a piece of like, oh, that stone that searches out a sun protection stone that we want suddenly looks a lot better, considering we're probably going to cheat Imul in off of like an old Scheherazade. Like,
Fucking God,
this card's pretty cool.
Yo, dude, I miss resonance triggers. This thing makes me miss resonance triggers so bad.
It's
Come
essentially
on.
resonance.
It's-
It's like a version of resonance.
I feel like, God, I wish we had like resonance like payoffs outside of just resonance triggers.
This card's gonna be $40 a copy for the waifu tax. I'm gonna
I mean,
full on
obviously.
anyway. Okay, let me make notes. Hold on. I'm gonna make this. Okay, sell ISM full arts.
Already got
for
dibs.
40. No.
Jimmy,
I've got the
Jimmy,
notes. It's right there.
Jerry,
There we
what
go.
other notes do you have there? Hang on. What's
Nope.
There you go. But Lorite. I mean, sure.
who cares?
For the stone. I'm
What?
like, I'm not
Are
saying
you?
it's like
Okay,
insane,
okay.
but
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
okay.
whoa. I'm back up.
I'm talking about the stone sack. But like, I've already got value. Like, when that stone comes into play, Imul's then going to trigger and make me some will. So like, I get some advantage off of it anyway. That's what I'm saying is like, because that stone entering the field before I tap sack and leave it will produce me will off of Imul. It's willing to be considered, right? That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to be very real. We're never Lorraine's effect.
Low writing the tap sack a stone effect of the stone that goes to go search for another stone.
Oh
That
yeah,
we're
I
low-rating.
guess that one will lower it. I didn't realize we were talking about that one. Whatever. Either way.
Yeah, that's what King Proshun is talking about. Paul, tell me about your thoughts about Imul.
So the more I've sat with this card and I've talked about it with our own people in our team chat, this card it's certainly good. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good card. I do not think it's cracked, and I certainly don't think it's the best card in the set. It just feels like it has
This card would have been so good in 2017 is what I'm thinking.
yeah, I mean, like it feels very flashy to me. It does not feel like it's going to be incredibly impactful. I would say that the biggest thing that this is probably going to do is the darkness effect. I could see the board wipe being very effective and very useful. But I'm not really sure where else to place it. Maybe Olga?
This feels like an Olga card. Like, to me, this feels like the Olga card that I was waiting on to like say, oh, he doesn't have to be particularly mono green and feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Like it gives him the flexibility to play things like spinning Aqua Soul to buy back a sword. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, one without the ability to will fix because of the the Sun Children, having as a green deck one color tech cards that are off color while being able to stay mono green, and having the ability to be able to play them feels like an important tool for Olga. And that's why I think Imul is just like the one that I'm going to be grabbing off of Scheherazade the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
She feels like a quintessential white card in that she has a very potentially powerful effect in combination with other cards, but on her own is not very impactful. And so this is one of those cards where I would have to see like what happens with it to be convinced if it's like a good linchpin card. But not immediately impactful in my opinion.
Yeah, which is fine. It feels like good but fair.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I like good but fair cards. Especially again in the context of like a good ADW style set of like a self-contained, like cool to pick up a box and try it out. I will say, King Pearlshine, you wanted to be contrary because I was gassing up Eclipsestone. I will put it this way. I think Eclipsestone is like average. I think that, and for when it was first revealed, thought unplayable. And then this card was spoiled and I got the edition and I was like, okay, the stone might have some playability in some decks. Like, that's as high as I'm taking the Eclipse Stone, is like, because these two other cards exist, this maybe sees some versatility, right? That's where I'm putting it. But I don't mind you being contrary to me. It's okay. Hey, you guys want to see 3 cards that no one else has seen yet?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Does the stone trigger even go on the chase since it's a will production ability?
Yes.
Yes. Automatic
It's not a will
abilities to
production.
produce will. Automatic abilities that use the chase to produce will still use the chase. Will abilities are activate abilities that produce will and don't have a target. Sorry, that produce will and don't have a target. Okay.
Force will, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, good stuff. It means
Sure.
that randomly the 4-drop Gil Lapis to put a +1/+1 counter on himself and produce will was a will ability. You were just like, oh, okay, I can't do anything to that? Sure, okay.
Anyway.
Okay, so let's talk about 3 cards that no one's shown before. Because it's mail day. Here's our
Mail
mailman.
Mailbag.
This is our mailman.
He is male.
This is Olgaria, the member of the 12 Sacred Knights. So another member of the 12 Sacred Knights. 1 white, 1 colorless, 6/6 human 12 Sacred Knight. You may search your deck for a card named Shelly, Olgaria's partner bird. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your deck. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, you may reveal a card named Shelly from your hand. If you do, then reveal a resonator you own from outside the game and swap them. And then reveal a card named Shelly, Olgaria's partner bird from your hand. This card gains +2/+2 swiftness and flying until end of turn. Play this ability only once per turn. I am in love with that middle effect so much. Like, I think that
It's really
idea
cool.
of, that's just really cool, of just like, oh, you killed him? Well, this Shelly is worthless to me now. Like, I just need to go get a tech card to help me up in this matchup. Like,
And then,
that swap effect is so cool.
and I'm going to point out one of the main things that we always got to point out about these kind of cards. This card is a 2-drop human.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can do the Einhir Yar.
Yeah, so it lets you run Tails cards in villain decks and vice versa. Sweet.
Yep.
Technically,
Yeah. Yes?
yeah.
Yeah.
Technically.
If technically, yeah, because it's a deck. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really like this card a lot. Even the turn that you cast it, he's essentially a 2-drop 8/8 with swiftness and flying, so like he can push in pressure. Or if you like, at worst, if you just really need to get a card out of your sideboard, you can just like play him, get the Shelly, reveal it, crash him into something, and then swap the Shelly immediately for the card that you actually need. And just wait till you see Shelly. It makes a lot of sense why, like, getting rid of Shelly when you don't have Olgaria, which we'll see in a second. But I really like the design space of this card. I think it rewards knowing the meta. It rewards skilled play and good sideboard construction, and makes use of using the sideboard in a very interesting way. That's not just I revealed it. Like,
Man, we're sideboarding in game 1. Man.
So
Weird.
good. This lets you prepare for your worst matchups on game 1. Yeah. Which I'm okay with. I love this card a lot.
Yeah,
I got to show this. I got to show this card, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they let me if my excitement for this would have been like if they let me show off Windia from the previous set as one of my spoilers. Like I cracked that open during the live stream, like case opening, because I hadn't seen Windia yet, and I was like, oh my gosh, this card is so good. Like so excited that I got to show this one off. It's so good. This lets Drywing untap a stone. It does, yeah, suddenly let you have like you can reveal a Drywing and then put a Drywing into your hand. Yeah, it's fine. Feels like Charlotte. You can have a wish board. Yep, for sure. Look at that man reaching for the smash invitation. Just wait in a second. Before we go look at Shelly, do you guys have any other thoughts on Olgaria?
I sure wish we had Shelly revealed so we could evaluate Olgaria much better. Oh,
this is just a very interesting, like, experimental card, right? Like, this is Charlotte, but like a different 2-drop, and it's going into this different design space where it's like your side deck is available, but you're probably only gonna use it in white. I don't know what deck this card is going into.
I mean, the fact that it only costs 1 white as opposed to double white means that like any deck that can splash white will probably make use of this card very well, as opposed to like Windia, where Windia was double green, right? Like Windia was double green, whereas Olgaria only needs that one source of white to be able to make a lot of effort out of it.
Yeah,
I really like this card.
This is a sleeper
for sure.
I do feel like this is also one of those you could play 3 cards in your main deck, 3 copies of a card in your main deck, and then 1 in your sideboard if you're playing Olgaria, just so that you can have like that 1 silver bullet if basically extra
like,
copies of those cards.
Yeah. Okay, so Olgaria will die and go to the graveyard. When he then goes to the graveyard, you get to reveal Shelly, reveal a card from your sideboard, and swap the Shelly for the sideboard card. So Shelly will go to your sideboard, and the new card will come to your hand.
Which is interesting in that you can technically kill Olgaria before he searches for Shelly, and they won't have a Shelly in hand to swap.
Correct. Unless they already had one in hand, and then you feel dumb.
Wait, you know something?
So sorry. Here's the thing. Here's the ultimate clutch. You play a single copy of Olgaria in the sideboard. So then they kill the Shelly, or they kill the Olgaria. You reveal the Shelly you already had. You flip the Shelly for the Olgaria, cast another Olgaria, get another Shelly, and then you're just like, get wrecked, son.
Wait, guys, do we have a Bush Resonator?
It only reveals Resonators. That is important to note. Roderick,
wait.
it can only grab you a Resonator from the sideboard, not any card.
We don't have a Bush Resonator. We have Vegetation. So
vegetation.
So we need to have that 1 Vegetation.
So you can have a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, for sure. I feel it. I respect it. Okay, let's talk about Shelly. So this is Shelly. She's very pretty. Shelly, Olgaria's partner bird. 1-drop quick cast 4/4 with flying. Enter, prevent all damage that would be dealt by target J/Resonator your opponent controls until end of turn, and then at end of turn, return this card to its owner's hand. This card is a chump blocker that will never be able to attack your opponent because of its at end of turn trigger, and no, you can't quick cast it in at the end of your opponent's turn, have it go to your turn, and then be able to swing, because it specifically says at end of turn, not at the next end of turn. So it will always go back to your hand. This card will never survive through a draw phase. Like, it will never pass through from an end phase to a draw phase. And this is why when you lose Olgaria, you can just get rid of Shelly, because Shelly by herself is just kind of like never going to advance board state. She's only going to prevent board state. But I also really like that design. So there you go. Thoughts?
It's a
Bird up!
Bird.
It's a mid green card. Great.
It's really good for Zeus. It's broken in Zeus. Yeah, you just like keep ordering the same Shelly over turn.
That's an 8. It's a weak pointy hat. That's what I'm looking at.
Unless you give him swiftness. Yes, if you somehow played him and give him swiftness, yes, you could. And he is a beast, so you can play Brisea's Call to Action and draw a card.
This burb can only protect. It's true.
Burb up. Yep. Burb.
Start up.
This card is very, I mean, it's pretty good at Zeus. I mean, I'm glad that Zeus is only a singleton deck, and you probably now in Zeus play Olgaria and Shelly, just in that deck as to fill in the space. So, yeah. This is Burb. The last one we have is Olgaria's Last Epistle. Wouldn't be a podcast without Mike.
I figured it was about time. I was about to make a comment about it.
This is Olgaria's Last Epistle. One white. I said one red because Min said Sprinting Steward in the chat. One white. Quick cast, return target non-magic stone, non-J ruler, light entity you control to its owner's hand. You pay 1 white to play your next card that shares a name with the chosen target until end of turn, rather than pay that card's cost. So you have a Raymond that you quick cast in and you don't want him to leave? Okay, cool. You can pay this, bounce him back to your hand, and then replay him for 1. You have a Starlit Canopy that you played for 3 or cheated in somehow and you want to recast it? Cool, you can do that. This just feels like a more flexible, without cantripping tea party. It feels a similar kind of space as that tea party stuff. Overall, I really like it. Eldorado Pearlshine says thank you. Eldorado.
Or Soul.
This doesn't make Jean feel nearly as bad to me. I just keep thinking Memory of Worlds as a card exists. And so I'm there are certain cards where I'm I just wish this was a little cheaper. And this
Maybe
could
you
do
have
that.
to play it before untap. And it makes it cheaper because otherwise you're still paying the same cost to play the card again because you paid 1 into this card and made the card you bounced 1 cheaper.
Yeah. So maybe not.
Yeah, the flavor text is pretty
reuse
sad.
a Jean or something like that, awaken it for the second time. There's something there.
Yeah. I mean, it's flickering with extra steps. You're not wrong.
This
it's
feels
flickering,
like Alice's Castling to me. That's what this feels like.
It's flickering that dodges Exorcist Mage. Because you don't actually truly flicker it. You bring it back to your hand and then can recast it.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, Olgaria is literally sending Shelly into the sideboard to call for aid because Olgaria got killed. Yeah. It flavor-wise, yep.
I'm dead. Yep.
Isn't this just a worse? Isn't this just a worse than the bounce untap 2 of Kaguya? But can be canceled twice. I mean, yeah, sure, that's fine. Everything. I'm gonna put this on record as much as I've been said before. I want every single card spoiled to have some way to interact with it and mess with it. I don't want cards that don't have answers. I want cards that have answers. So when you say things like, but this is an answer to it, I go, good.
Yeah.
So otherwise, everybody plays that card again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you centralize the metagame.
Yeah.
We don't
this
want
helps protect Exorcist Mage. Yeah, you can use... I like this with Final Stance. So here's the problem with Final Stance, though, Alejandro, is that you have to then find another stance to play. Keep that in mind. Because you can't... I forget the wording of Final Stance, but it's in order to cast it, you have to have another stance on field, right?
Isn't it? Enter effect is actually only take another turn if you had another stance or something.
That doesn't work because you would be able to cheat it in off of Almerius. I have to go back and look at the wording of Final Stance.
Stance. You can only play
cast
it if you have the other stances.
If you have another stance. Yeah, that's why we were cheating it off of
attack, defense,
Almerius.
and magic stance, you get to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I read the card wrong.
But it's a -4 cost. Yeah, for sure. You read the card wrong?
I did read the card wrong.
What did you
I was
think the
reading
card
it
said?
as you pay light less to play your next card,
No,
and
you
not
pay
just light instead. And I was
light. It's pay 1 light to play it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The bird isn't dead. Olgaria is dead.
Rip in
Which
peace.
is sad. Yeah, rip in peace, boys.
This might have some applications in like stun Odin decks.
Yes, also true.
It's like, cool, you finally figured out a way to try and kill one of the things that's on the field. I'll just put this back in my hand, thank you. Recast it, punish you later. Yeah, this feels like a good control card. Like a 2 or 3 oven control list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just play Artillerist, pitch something, bounce it, play it again, pitch something else, and you're dead.
There
No,
we go.
so Roderick, it's actually still 12 Sacred Knights because Zeus Alice is the 13th 12 Sacred Knight. So when Olgaria died, we went from 13 to 12. So we're still good.
Technically, one of them also got.
Oh,
turned
I
into
guess
a-
we are technically down to 11 again because of Sealed One-Eye Dragon. So like even with Zeus Alice, we're still at 11. What happens if you try to flicker an inverse entity?
It
It'll
comes
just flip back to
into
its
the
front to
regular
your
side.
It'll just come back to your hand on the front side, and then you'll recast on the because it's not an actual flicker. It's put back in your hand, make it cheap to recost. Okay, we got just a few more cards to get through tonight because it's late.
20. Jeez.
Yeah, it's light. So we have Serenade Viera, Tragic Diva, Melody, Sunchild 2. This card gains X instances of melody, where X is the number of music chants with different names you played this turn. It's J/rulers can have multiple instances of melody. For all intents and purposes, as far as I know from the other pages, melody is lost at the end of the turn. So it's like you have to build up melody that turn and then go off. Just keep that in mind. It's not just like get to go crazy and build up melody over a bunch of different turns. It's blue. It's a gimmick. Moving on. And I say this from the perspective, we're going to go through these cards very quickly because it's very blue gimmick. And in order to really flesh out how good that gimmick is, 1, we need to better understand, again, CR and Q&A document because we have a lot of questions. And 2, we really just need to see more of the cards. So like, I'm going to kind of speed through these and I'm going to just purely let Patrick and Paul jump in and interrupt me whenever they want. But we're going to move kind of quickly through these because there's just a lot left to learn about melody in general. So feel free, you boys interrupt me whenever, but I'm pulling up the next card.
Okay.
Next up we have is her Snake.
Snake!
This is
Snake.
Child of Rain.
Snake.
God's Art 0. God's Art 0 produce blue. Spend this bill only to play music chants. Okay.
Probably not played unless we find something else. That's really
Probably played with her. Like
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think this is really good for Veer. Like, so many 1-drops just suddenly become free. Like, I just
This
think that's
might
really
be a
good,
maybe for
especially when
me.
you're trying to storm, right?
Because it's a
He's-
one-time effect.
he's
Unless we play like
perfect.
Excalibur in it.
Danger Doodle. Yeah, Danger Doodle. Next up we have Next up we have Age of Rain, 1 blue, chance you control in all zones, gain music in addition to all other races, resonators you control but don't own, so things you've stolen, gain +4/+4, and on enter it draws a card.
I'm going to point out a couple cards here that Paul and I were already talking about. Loki enters the Game of Gods. ROL
Melfi.
ROL Melfi. Valentina, owner of the theater. Precious Big Show. Rewriting laws.
The null draw a card. Whispers
Voice
from the
from the
Whispers
Void.
from the Void.
Voice from the Void, yeah, Voice from the Void.
Bear Magic.
Parasol.
Parasol, the Mage Art, Bewildering Charm
Mm-hmm.
to bounce something.
Endless
Like-
Purse.
Endless
Vala.
Purse. Vala. Well, Vala's not a.
Vala's not a
She's not-
chain.
She's
So
gonna
that, like,
steal
Vala's
stuff, but
coming into this.
Oh, you could because you can steal. Because you can
stuff and
steal
pump
with
stuff up.
Vala. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we have Melody of Rain. 1 drop quick cast music. Return any number of target non-magic stone, non-J ruler, non-token entities your opponent controls. So additions and dudes, or regalia. Regalia could be hit too. With a total combined cost of X or less to its owner's hand, where X is the combined number of instances of melody that J/rulers you control is. If X is 4 or more, put them on the bottom of its owner's deck instead.
So one thing about this card is that technically you're not playing it, well, from what I understand, X, you have to choose targets. So when you choose targets is the current melody, but when this is played, it wouldn't count towards X.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we think that there's a conversation going around that the CR in terms of like where in the because of this card and because of all the stuff with Olga is like, is the CR sequence of like when a card being considered played potentially going to change? Because there's a very real there is an opportunity for a shift into the CR to consider a card played way earlier in the sequence and that would boost cards like this where they like see themselves, but we don't know that yet. That's the biggest piece that we got to figure out. So keep that in mind.
This is Thunderstorm. Feel old yet? Yeah, I
wrong.
do. I've been waiting for this card again.
You're not wrong.
Heads up, everyone. Forcible Sex posting is now Forcible Snick posting.
Has a WinCon been revealed yet and I just missed it? No.
No.
Nope.
Not yet. We got a lot of cards to see.
Well,
Blue doesn't have WinCons. They have tools.
It's way too early to see. Like, that's why I'm saying we're going through these cards very quickly. We need to see her Marvel Rare. Her Marvel Rare is the thing that I think is going to really make it very clear what how she's closing out games.
Well, we've definitely seen her contract already. We just got
which is on the screen right now, but I don't think her contract is her WinCon. Anyway, summon the Serpent of Rain, 1 blue, draw X. It is a music, keep that in mind. Draw X cards, and then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your deck, where X is the combined number of instances of melody that J/rulers you control. If you control 3 or more stones, you can contract. And the contract side is Gleipnir Chrono Gear. 7/7 with flying. This card gains X instances of melody. This card gains +4/+4 for any instance of melody that it has, so it's going to enter usually with at least 1. This card gains Swiftness, Drain, Eternal, and Barrier as long as there are 5 or more instances of melody on it. Enter, this card gains control of target non-magic stone, non-J ruler entity your opponent controls as long as you control this card on the field. If you can get to 5 instances of melody and then flip this card over, suddenly you're swinging with a 27/27 while also stealing your opponent's thing. So like that's nothing to shake a stick at, considering this card costs 1 to cast.
Yeah.
But we need to see a lot more of like how she's going to be easily generating large amounts of melody.
Mm-hmm.
I love water attribute contracts. Because, like, I can read half of it, fall asleep, and then get the gist of it.
Wow.
Does it lose the melody the turn the contract resolves? It won't lose the melody from the... I would imagine it wouldn't lose the melody from the front side, right? Because typically,
because each side says this card gains X instances, and it counts the number of chances you've played this turn, period.
Yeah, so it'll just, like, carry through.
I'm going to be very real with you guys. If it only takes 1 turn for you to lose the melody, Veer's a really shitty musician. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, that's how some music mechanics work in games.
Still gets turned off by Death Scythe. I mean, sure.
Sure.
So does everything.
So does everything. But those are our cards. Those are everything. Everyone say hi to Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. Say hi, Ben.
It's Fan.
He's a fan with the ears, yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot left to be seen with Melody. Overall, it's a very interesting idea. It feels like a blue ruler where it's very gimmicky, but I'm here for it. I'm okay with it. So, and Paul is very clearly going to be claiming to play her as the first ruler for the channel. So like, I'm probably never even going to get to play this ruler, but it's okay.
No, it's just going to be me and Paul.
We're gonna crack this ruler.
The card gains melodies, but the ruler disappears from the area. Am I wrong? Sure, but it says J/ruler. This card gains instances of melody. So like, sure, the front side is no longer having those instances of melody, but the back side also will see all the chants you've already cast for that turn. So because it does reference J/ruler, not just ruler. Yeah. Okay. So that's all for us. This was on our 100th episode. A lot of stuff to talk about. If you've been excited and you haven't gotten your pre-orders in for this set, you can go ahead and check out the link in the description below to go to Odyssey Games and go be sure to check out Converging Wills to get signed up for that event and get crushed my bee on my quest for that Lumia playmat. It has been an absolute joy and blast to do this show, talking about spoilers and news and just random foul shenanigans for 100 episodes. I really am proud of what this vodcast has turned into, and I can't think of better people to share it with, and not only you as the chat as well. So thank you all so much for being here for this. More to come. Be sure to check out our shorts videos as we post them on a day-to-day basis, just revealing the spoilers and giving quick thoughts about them, and check us out over on TikTok. But until next time, this has been myself, DMO73, and I've been joined as always by Paul Reisman.
Force of will, baby, force of will.
Later now, folks. Migrants.
Keeping it one hundo.
And Patrick Ogrins.
I'm all down for musical snakes. Let's go.
Until next time, class dismissed.